Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kingdom Within Us. I am Yandia. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to come on and actually just share something very brief with you. I say it's going to be brief, but who knows, right? um, Most of you know about the Lord's Prayer. And for the past little while, maybe ever since my last upload, I've actually been going through this very deep and wide meditation on what's called the Lord's Prayer. And I don't even know if I'm done. I don't even know if I'm done. But today I knew that I had to put something out for you guys. And I was, asking Most High, like, where do I even begin? I have I've received so much information over the last few weeks, just in meditation and so on, and study. And I didn't know where to start with you, but it came to me to share where I began, which is with the Lord's Prayer. So I'm going to simply go through line by line. We're going to take it from Matthew 6, verse 9 to 13. And let's see, let's get some context, right, to this. Let's go to Matthew. I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. Matthew 6, so we can read it. Okay, so if we go to Matthew chapter 6, we're just going to read, we're going to read from verse 1. And I will read from the new, let's go New American Standard today. Okay. And it says it this way: take care not to practice your righteousness in the sight of people to be noticed by them. Otherwise, you have no reward with your Father who is in heaven. So when you give to the poor, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, so that they will be praised by people. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. But when you give to the poor, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your charitable giving will be in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, you are not to be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand. Sorry, let me go again. This is verse 5. And when you pray, you are not to be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners, so that they will be seen by people. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. But as for you, when you pray, go into your inner room, close your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you are praying, do not use thoughtless repetition as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. So do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Okay, so before we go into the way that we ought to pray, everything there is basically saying, you know, do not give. Do not do these righteous things in order to be seen, to appear holy or to appear righteous. So you're giving money to the poor or you're helping someone in any way. Whatever it is that you're doing, do not do it for the reason of being, seen by other people or to look good in someone else's eyes. Do not do it for outward praise. Do it, and as much as you can, do it secretly, because you're not doing it for to gain glory from people. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because Spirit has led you to do it. Do it for those reasons. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Obviously, sometimes when you're going to do something, it might come out that you're the one who did the good thing, or you may not have a way to hide that you're the one doing it, right? If you're going to go and help someone who's in need, you may not be able to hide that you're helping them. But the reason for you helping them is not to be seen. It's not to be praised, right, by other people. Okay, so then he says here in verse 7, and when you are praying, do not use thoughtless repetition as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. So do not be like them. I'm not even going to get into how many different ways that we've seen people pray, and it's a lot of repetition over and over. You have to say this thing this many times. You have to do that many times. And they really do believe that they have to do it a certain number of times in order for them to be seen or heard by God, right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be doing these things because, as we've discussed before, Most High God, the Father, Mother, our Creator, is within us. And right here it says, knows what we need before we even ask. Okay? So then it goes into what is known as the Lord's Prayer. Pray then in this way. So we're going to take it verse by verse. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Or another word for hallowed is holy or treated as sacred. So your name is sacred, right? We're not going to break down anything about necessarily what any of these mean, the metaphysical way to look at it or anything. We're just really going to go through it, and you guys are going to tell me what you get from this prayer, and we're going to reason about it. Okay? I don't want to come on and say really much of what I've gotten from it. I want to kind of put it out there for you, and then you tell me, after taking your time meditating on it, let me know if you get any insight. Okay? So, our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Some say deliver us from the evil one. Then he says, for if you forgive other people of their offenses, your Father, your heavenly Father, will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive other people, then your heavenly Father will not forgive your offenses. Okay? And that's it. So we just read Matthew 6 from 1 to 14. Okay, that's that whole part there. And that's where we're going to stop. A few things that I want to point out that it would be good for you to meditate on is our Father, right? Our Father, who is in heaven. Who is our Father? Where is heaven? Hallowed be thy name. Sacred is your name. Set apart is your name. What is the name? Is it a name? Is it, because some places have name as authority, right? Authority, power, right? Sacred is your name. Hallowed is your name. Your kingdom come. Where is the kingdom? What is the kingdom? Coming where? Your will be done. What is the will of the Father? So your will be done on earth. Where is earth? What is earth? As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Which day? What day? What is the day? Our daily bread. What is the daily bread? What is bread? And forgive our debts. What does it mean to forgive? What are debts? As we also forgive our debtors. Who are our debtors? And do not lead us into temptation. Temptation, what is temptation? How can you be led into temptation? What actually leads you into temptation? But deliver us from the evil one. Where is the evil one? What is evil? All of these things, meditate on all of these things. And obviously, for if we do not forgive others of, for if you forgive, for if you forgive other people of their offenses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, then your Father will not forgive you of your offenses. That's the only part I'm probably going to share a little bit about, actually. And maybe it might give a little insight, but I'm going to share about that part. When I had my um, when I had my closer to life experience, or some people call it NDE, near death experience, when I had that experience, I experienced not feeling or having some sort of, how do I want to say it? Like a God that was outside of myself, who was judging me, who was, even when I was going through my life review, it didn't feel like there was someone outside, a presence outside of myself that was judging my life. It felt like I was in a place that I was surrounded by truth. It felt as if I was this presence of what I would call God was with me, in me. I was understanding everything very, very clearly. Any question I had was being answered not from outside of myself, but from within myself. There was a total oneness with God. There was no separation in my thought. There was no like distance, there was no distance, there was no separation. Like I said, as soon as I thought something, the answer was there. And so reviewed as I reviewed my life, there came a point where I questioned something. And as soon as I questioned that thing, in my own conscience, like I said, the answer was there. I was able to view my life from such a pure state. It was very clear to me what love was, very clear to me what false humility was, self-righteousness, like all of these things is just very clear. And when I read here, when it says, for if you forgive others, for if you forgive other people for their offenses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. It's like there is an understanding that you have, like you may be very judgmental. And on this side of the veil, you may be a very judgmental person. Actually, I think there's also another place where it says, judge not, lest you be judged, right? And I can honestly say that on the other side, that literally is how it is. If you are on this side of the veil and you have very strong judgments, well, it doesn't even have to be strong. If you have judgments, condemnation, towards certain things, like let's say if you're a person who is very, I don't know, like you have a very strong judgment, let's say, against people who are adult, like who commit adultery, right? And you're maybe thinking, these people who commit adultery, they should burn. Like all of these people who commit adultery, they should suffer. because it's so wrong, it's so bad. Well, if that's your judgment, um, if that's the way that you are going to judge people who commit adultery, it's very possible that when you get over to the other side, because you're standing in this place of truth, you may then realize that you've committed adultery in many ways that you were maybe not even aware of, right? And so then you are going to be left with your own judgment. The very thing that you said should be the punishment for all who commit adultery. When you find yourself to be one who has committed adultery and possibly was even committing adultery all the way up until the day that you died, then you would have to face your own judgment because your conscience would be convicted because of you. So on this side of the veil, it's important for us to forgive other people because sometimes it's difficult for us to see how we could be committing the exact same offense. So when it says, if you forgive others, your Father in heaven, and the place where I found God to be was within my own self, within my own consciousness, um, within my own being when I was on the other side, right? Surrounded by a presence, but very aware of the presence being within me. Presence around me and the presence in me was the same presence. And so that consciousness that you have, you're going to have to face all of your own thoughts, right? Because your Father in heaven is not going to be some on the other side, you're going to realize that God is not far at all. God is not in some distant place. God is right there within you, in your thoughts. Your ability to be conscious and alive and aware is God. And so when you're without this body and free from the lies and the distortion of this realm, and you're in a place of divine clarity, that same consciousness is still there, but you will be able to see things clearly. And so if you're a person who is very judgmental, if you're a person who's unwilling to forgive, that hardness in your heart, uh, you're going to have to face that hardness, right? And if you're saying, nope, this person deserves that, and you find out that you're that same person, then you have to deal with your own judgment towards yourself, right? Our thoughts, the best way for me to put it, I guess, is that the thoughts we have towards other people in this realm, they'll never affect them. They'll only affect us. Every thought you have towards someone who's done good to you, every thought you have towards someone who's done bad to you, they'll never affect that person on the grand scale. When you leave this realm, all you're going to have are all of your thoughts and all of your judgments, all of the things that you said yes to and all the things you said no to. And you're going to stand there with those things in that place of truth, in that place of clarity. And you're going to have to deal with your own thoughts towards these things that maybe you didn't realize when you were here on earth, because maybe you were being a hypocrite, right? And so that's why it also says that we should work out our salvation with fear and trembling, because it is very easy to see somebody else. It's difficult to see ourselves, right? Obviously, we have eyes, they're on our face, and we see everything that's outside of us. You can't see yourself without looking in the mirror, right? You have to be able to turn your eye inward, which might be very difficult to do. So you use a mirror to see yourself. And the best mirrors are actually other people. You can really see yourself in another person. Sometimes when somebody does something wrong to you and you get angry and you lack patience, that's that person being a mirror, helping you to see yourself, to see, wow, maybe 2 weeks ago, if this happened to me, I wouldn't have gotten that angry. but now I am. So what's happening, right? That person has allowed you to see that maybe there's underlining things that you're not dealing with because your patience, your tolerance is really, not there as it used to be. And so sometimes we spend a lot of time um, focusing on everybody else outside of ourselves when everybody else outside of ourselves is a mirror pointing to us the state of our mind, the state of our heart, the state of our entire being, right? And so I think it's important to keep that in mind as we're meditating on this prayer. And keep in mind that the Father is within, the kingdom of heaven is within us. So our Father who is in heaven, where is heaven? Within us. The kingdom is within us, right? And just keep that in mind as you go through. I really want you to come to this on your own, because I do believe that that's why I'm sharing it, because those of you who have an open heart, who want to understand these things for the right reasons, right? I believe that this is the time of great revelation. And yeah, I'm excited to know what you guys are going to share. I'm excited to know what will be revealed to you so that we could continue this discussion. But this is just part one of this, and I'm going to check in the comment section. And I'm thinking of even possibly, if you're interested, I'm even thinking of doing a Zoom for those people who want to discuss this more on a one-on-one, or in a little group session, because this is very important. It's very deep. And um, I'm not really sure how well it can be articulated, in this type of a platform. So I'm open to doing a Zoom. I'm open to doing something where we can discuss this face to face in a small group or one-on-one. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested in that, or if you just like me to come in here with a part two to discuss it a little further. But that's all for now. Love you guys. Bye-bye.